this is all I can tell you. Whatever you do not invest currently in the Las Vegas real estate market. The market is not good as an investor. Why? Because home pricing is so high and the interest rate is high as well. The numbers just don't make sense. And there are a lot of people out there thinking that the market is slowing down, which is, it has. The problem is this, I get calls all day long. Hey, I want to buy an investment property. I want a discount, right, on the property. Well, that's fine, but I'm looking at the numbers and the numbers don't make sense as a landlord. So if you're just getting into the market and you're buying your first investment property, you got to know how to run the numbers to see if it makes sense. And a lot of newbie investors, they actually buy based upon speculation. And what I mean by that is they end up buying a property in a desirable location and they will sit and wait until the market goes up and cash out. However, I'm gonna tell you this. I've been doing this now for 16 years. I've closed hundreds of real estate transactions. I worked with investors. I've had multiple investment properties that cash flow. I've also flipped properties too as well. So I have a grasp of this. So I'm gonna tell you this. Right now is not the time to get into the market. If you happen to buy as a first-time investor, you shouldn't be buying based upon speculation. You should be buying only based upon cash flow. The reason why this is important, because if the market does tank, your rents still cover your mortgage and you're still getting cash flow, even though you are losing your equity. The question is, when should I actually get into the market as an investor to create a portfolio? Well, I'm gonna tell you, this is what I do. Okay, so there are 4 things that I look at when I look at the market, and you can use this in any market. So the first thing I do is really analyze sales price of the home. What are homes selling for? What's the median price point? What is the average price point for a home? The second thing I look at is, what is the current interest rate? Because the higher the interest rate, the higher your mortgage is gonna be. Then I also take a look at the rental comps. What are rents within the surrounding areas? Then the most important thing is, I like to look at ROI, return on investment, okay? So let's take a look at this. Now, this is just to kind of give you guys a general idea of what's going on in today's housing market here in Las Vegas, and you guys could use this as well. So there's 4 categories that I look at: sales price, the interest rate, rental comps, and ROI. The reason why I have mortgage on here is because I'm going to show you, as an example, the average home that is selling right now in Las Vegas is $480,000. Rates right now, I can get down to 6%. Now at 6%, my mortgage payment would be $27.89. Now keep this in mind. This is based upon a scenario that I'm putting down 20%. So that's going to be about $96,000. Interest rate, 6%. Mortgage comes out to $27.89. That also includes principal, interest, taxes, and also insurance. Now, we took a look at the rental comps. Rental comps actually have gone up because what's happening is the buyers are looking at the total cost here, right? To buy a home and how much they have to put down doesn't make sense, because you can get the exact same home by renting it out. As you can see, you're gonna save about $227. So if you are in the market to buy right now, this would be your negative cash flow. You're losing $227 a month. And a lot of people will end up doing this strategy based upon speculation, right? For tax purposes. And if the market does go up, now they can actually cash out. But you should never be buying based upon speculation. So we're gonna start off with this column right here, the sales price. And I'm gonna break it all down and I'm gonna show you exactly how all this actually works. And this is what I do when I look at the current market. So again, this is gonna be based upon the sales price, $480, interest rate 6%. Your mortgage now is $27.89. Then we have the rental comps. We know we're negative. But let's just focus on this column right here, the sales price, okay? As you can see, the sales price is at $480, $430, $400, $360, $320, $329. And this is gonna be based upon if everything is all the same as far as interest rate, your comps for your rental, and I'm gonna show you exactly what your rate of return is. So for an example, if the market had dropped down to $430,000, we still have that same interest rate at 6%. Now your monthly mortgage is $25.06, but we know our comps is $25.62, but we're still negative cash flow here, $56 every single month. Here, if home prices drop down to 480, I'm sorry, if the price drops from 480 down to 400, same interest rate. Now your monthly payment is $23.37. Now your cash flow based upon your rate of return, because now you put 96,000. Keep that in mind. This is all based upon putting 20% down, which is 96,000, okay? Off of 480. But obviously as we drop the price, your down payment is going to be less. But I already did all the math. I made it very simple for you. So here, our rate of return now is starting to get into the positive, 3.3%. So this tells me, even though that I pay a high interest rate, as long as the price goes down, I don't care what the interest rate is. Now let's run this scenario. If home prices are now down at 360,000, now my payment is $2,110. Look at my rate of return at the end of the year, 7.5%. Now going back here as an example, at 320 sales price, same interest rate, but look at my payment now, $1,884, and comps, right, for the rentals, now my rate of return is 13%. At 290,000, same thing. My mortgage is $1,714, and my rate of return is 17%. And this is just based upon everything stays the same other than the sales price adjust. Here's the reason why I look at the 4 columns that we talked about. We're going to take a look at the interest rate. If we kept the same sales price, 480 all the way across, let's run the scenario. So we already know scenario number 1, we're losing $227 a month. Here at 480 at 5.75%, as you can see, by a quarter of a point, you didn't really save anything on your mortgage. Rental comps is the same. We're still negative $167. Another scenario here, we drop it down to 5.25%, 26, and look at your rate of return. That's still not a good rate of return, right? So let's just fast forward here. Let's say if we drop it down to 4.25, now we're at 2.3%. So what is this telling you? If we look at all the data, rates would have to drop all the way down to 3.75% in order for you to get a minimum of 3.4%. Now, if rates drop down to 2.5%, now your rate of return is 6.9%. But then now you need to ask yourself, what's the chances of rates dropping all the way down to 2.5% for you to get 6.9%? Because as an investor, what we try to do is we try to get the lowest rate as possible and also the lowest price point as possible, because we know that we're going to be locked in probably for about a 30-year term, right? So now let's just run this scenario. Let's take a look at the rental comps. Let's see how this changes things in this column, okay? We're going to keep it basic again at 480 all the way down. Interest rates all at 6%. We're going to have the same monthly mortgage payment, okay? But let's just say rental comps start to go up. Here, as you can see, rental comps have gone up. Your rate of return is not even 1%. But now if you went from $25.62 all the way to $3,100 a month, right? Now, even though you're at 6% and at $480,000, look at your rate of return. Now it's at 3.8%. Another scenario here, okay? It goes up to $3,400. Your rate of return now is 7.6%. This is starting to get really good. Now, if your rental comps go up to $3,700, now you're at 11.3% rate of return, okay? That is really good. Now, let's just say if it gone up to $4,100 a month, your ROI is now 16.3%. Now, some investors will still buy properties that are at $25.62 a month, but negative. But what happens is they realize that the rental comps within that area, right, is actually higher than the $25.62. Let's just say they're aware it's 31, but they want a 3.8%. What they'll do is end up buying it, increasing the rental comps to get the 31, so that way they can make the numbers work at 3.8%. Now the question is the rate of return. For me, this is the most important thing, right? The rate of return. One of the questions I get, and this happens to all brand new investors. They're like, hey, I've got some money, I want to get into the game. So you need to identify what type of investor are you, okay? Are you a buy and hold investor? Number 2, are you a cash flow investor? These are the 2 questions that you need to ask yourself. If you are a buy and hold, that tells me that you're basically buying based upon speculation. If you are a cash flow investor, that tells me that you've been doing this for some time, because any true investor that has a portfolio, the game is this: how much money you put into the deal. This is very important. So every investor, including myself, when I go out and I analyze a property and I'm leveraging out the bank's money by putting 20% down, for instance, $96,000, okay, on a $480,000 home. If I'm gonna put that money into the deal, I wanna know what my rate of return is, my return on investment, okay? And what that means is the higher the return, the faster I'm trying to get my $96,000 out. So let's just say my rate of return is 10% of $96,000 that I had into this deal. If I'm making 10%, okay, a year, it would literally take me about 10 years to get my money back. Because the goal is to get the money back, and once you have the money back, you can redeploy that money, because that's the name of the game. It's how fast I can get my money back and put it into another deal to find another investment that gives me a higher rate of return. Because after year 10, what happens is now my cash on cash return is no longer 10%. It's infinity. And that's what you want to be, okay? That means you got your money out of the deal, you own a piece of asset, now you've also built some equity, you paid down the principal, and you're still making cash flow. So that's really the name of the game, and that's where you want to be. But now one of the questions I get asked, what is a good rate of return? Well, it really just depends on you. So how do you gauge that? Well, take a look at your investments, the type of investments that you have. So for an example, if you have stocks, what is it producing every year? 7, 8, 9%? If you're getting 9%, but you're looking at other investment properties, and the other investment properties, as you're analyzing the numbers, and you're only getting 7.6%, you're probably better off of just leaving that money in the stock market. These are all different asset class. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. So when people ask me what type of rate of returns I like, I do not get into the market until my rate of return is roughly about 10%. That's when I just start looking. But I know I can make higher returns than that, right? And that's through flipping homes. However, this is just based upon rentals. I had tons of rental property, but I've liquidated and sold them all because I want to leverage out my money and redeploy my money back out to find better deals. Now, the question here is, which is better to look at? Sales price, the interest rate, the rental comps, okay? For me, first thing I always look at the market is always the sales price. Then I take a look at the rental comps, then followed up by the current interest rate. Then I figure out what my ROI is going to be and if that actually makes sense. And if it doesn't hit 10%, I don't even look at the deal. So guys, that's how you're going to determine within your marketplace if you should be getting into the market. But I can tell you right now, Las Vegas is not the market for rentals unless you can find a really good deal. Are there good deals out there? And the answer is yes. So right now with new home builds, they do have interest rates that I've seen at 3.85%. So I'm gonna run the scenario with you. There are some new home builds right now at 3.85%. They do have homes at 450K. So let's run this scenario together. Now, not all home builders have this, and I do have the list. So if you wanna know what the list of incentives are, which builder, please let me know. Now, this could also be done with resale as well, because there's sometimes resale homes, the seller is willing to credit $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. We can use that towards your buy down. But let's just say we're at 450,000. Now we put down 20%. Rates are now at 3.85%. Now your payment is going to be $2,155. Now, if we take a look at this, we already know that current rent's $2,562. So now we're gonna go $2,562. Let's see what that minus out at 2562 minus 2155. So you're cash flowing $407 a month. That is really, really good. Now we're gonna take that times that by 12. Now you're at 48. So we're gonna take 48, divide that by our total investment. So let's take a look at our total investment into this deal. It's a total of 90,000. 48,884, divide that by 90,000. Now we are at a 5.4% return. Actually, this is not that bad. But would I take this deal? The answer is no. But if you happen to take this deal, the good news about this is you're making 5.4% on your money. The tenant is also paying down your principal, and you get your tax deductions, and you're getting future appreciation by paying that down. So again, it just really depends on the type of investor you are. But if you are new, you should stick to the rule of thumb. You should only buy based upon cash flow, and based upon the cash flow, the type of returns that you are looking for. Now, like I said, this could be great for a lot of you guys out there, because you may want to buy something like this, rent it out for 2 years, knowing that you're going to be moving out here. So it could be a win-win situation, okay? All right, guys, that is all I have for today. If you guys like more content like this, let me know in the comments below. And if you're looking to purchase an investment property, let me help you walk you through the process. Other than that, till next time, peace.